and about Warren Buffett and his secret savings hack. It's actually quite a predictable take. He said, quote, "Start saving money as early as possible so that you get into the habit." But he lived like he learned. By age 15, he had already earned $2,000 selling magazine subscriptions and delivering papers. It just goes to show that the earlier you can get into the proper mindset, the better off you are. Speaking about Warren Buffett, do you know what habit he has copied from 6-year-olds that he applies every day of his life? Stay tuned to find out the answer. Today, we're looking at the 7 money-saving hacks of the wealthy that the average person unfortunately seldom applies in their life. Many find it difficult in their normal day-to-day life to save money from their current income. However, even with a low salary, it is possible to save money with some well-executed strategies. In our quest to wealth, we need to recognize and implement as many of these hacks as possible, preferably all of them. So let's jump straight into it. Number 7. The wealthy have lower housing costs. Regardless of whether you rent or own, for most, the cost of your housing will be your largest monthly expense. Financial experts recommend that the total of your rent or mortgage payments plus bills should not exceed 35% of your monthly after-tax income. Effectively, this allows tenants to save more money even if their income is smaller. There are several ways to cut your housing costs, the first of which is to look for a less expensive location. Instead of continuing to rent a 2-bedroom apartment, a single room in someone's house may be sufficient for your requirements. But if you have no desire to relocate, negotiating an exchange of services, such as making improvements in exchange for a rent decrease or agreeing to sign a longer lease, can be an effective technique. You could also trade your expertise for a lower rent. For example, you could offer accounting services to your landlord in exchange for a lower rent. If you're a homeowner, however, the advice will be slightly different. Little changes like turning off the lights and lowering your water consumption may add up to significant savings over time. But one of the best ways to lower your housing costs is to rent out a room in your house. Renting out a spare room in your house may easily yield a few $100 each month, allowing you to put additional money in your savings account at the end of the month. Just make sure not to rent out to the wrong person. Otherwise, that headache could actually end up costing you money instead. Number 6. The wealthy stay out of debt. You must avoid debt at all costs if you wish to preserve money while earning a lower salary than you'd like. This is because debt prevents you from saving in 2 ways. For starters, having debt implies that creditors would be knocking on your door for money every month, but avoiding that debt would mean more money in your pocket at the end of the month. Second, debt is nearly always coupled with monthly interest costs for lines of credit. These rates are normally about 3 to 5%, which quickly accumulates to big sums. You can see how having debt might make saving difficult on a modest salary. Credit card debt amplifies this problem even more. It's quite obvious that if you wish to save money on a low salary, you must avoid debt and the interest charges that come with it at all costs. So it's time to get out the wallet and cut all those credit cards in half. And throw away the sellotape so that you aren't tempted to put them back together again. Number 5. The wealthy keep entertainment costs to a minimum. We generally want to have a good time, but for many people, this comes at a high price. Dining out, going to the bar with friends, going to the movies, and other forms of entertainment might put a significant dent on our budget. But it doesn't have to. For the average young adult, a lot of money is spent going out partying with friends, taking taxis to and from the bar, buying drinks, etc. This is a very costly lifestyle. As we mature, our priorities change and we start to focus more on keeping the money we have. However, to keep having a good time and not miss out on a rich social life, we have to find innovative ways to spend quality time with friends without breaking the bank. For example, just taking walks and being social, or having dinner parties at home instead of going to restaurants. Or why not watch Netflix instead of going to the movies? In short, we all need to have fun, but we don't have to go broke in doing so. Doing that will make the fun stop at some point. Number 4. The wealthy know the difference between wants and needs. There's no denying that spending money makes us happy, but if you're on a tight budget and want to save, you'll need to be able to separate your wants from your needs. For example, you could want to upgrade your phone to the most recent model, but you probably don't need to. And you might want a new shirt, but you probably already have a lot of fine clothes. When you aren't generating a lot of money, you must be extra careful and only spend on necessities. Establish a financial goal for yourself, such as saving $1,000 in your savings account, and once you've achieved it, you may go ahead and buy the thing you've been eyeing. This strategy is beneficial for two reasons. Firstly, it helps you develop the habit of setting financial objectives. And secondly, it gives you time to consider how much you actually want the product. So go ahead and cancel that pre-order on the latest iPhone, unless it has the latest selfie camera technology. Then it's worth it. And the thing about Warren Buffett and the habit he copies from 6-year-olds. He said that he has checked the statistics and found that the lowest death rate is among 6-year-olds. So have you decided to eat like them? For breakfast, Buffett often frequents McDonald's for a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. And on most days, Buffett will visit his beloved Dairy Queen for an ice cream dessert. He is also quoted in an interview to drink at least 5 12-ounce servings of Coca-Cola every day. How does he even manage to do that? That is truly remarkable. We have already covered 4 items on the list and only have 3 to go. Make sure to stay for the final one, as that is about an automated system that you can start doing right now. And if you like what we do, you should consider subscribing and hitting that like button as if it was a piñata full of gold coins. Let's continue on. Number 3. The wealthy spend their grocery money carefully. The typical monthly grocery bill for a family is projected to be about $1,000, making it one of the more expensive monthly costs. Although we can usually lower it substantially with a little planning and ideas. The first step in lowering your monthly food spending costs is to prepare your meals ahead of time. This will not only be a step in the right direction in terms of health, but it will also guarantee that you only eat when necessary, which in turn would decrease the amount of wasted food. The second way to save money on groceries is to eat less meat. Meat is perhaps the most costly food item available, making it an easy target when attempting to cut costs. Now, we're not suggesting that you become a vegan to save money, but by reducing your meat consumption or substituting it with less affordable versions such as peas, you may massively reduce your grocery spending. So it's time to do something about your addiction to McDonald's burgers. Number 2. The wealthy use a zero-sum budgeting approach. When you adopt zero-sum budgeting, you spend every single dollar you earn, on purpose, but not in the manner you may think. Instead, zero-sum budgeting entails assigning your income to each of your cost line items and directing any leftover cash to a traditional savings account. To demonstrate this budgeting strategy, suppose you earned $2,000 per month after taxes at your employment. Using the zero-sum budgeting method, you would devote the full $2,000 to your monthly spending items listed. Rent, vehicle payments, petrol, food, and leisure are all common costs. But using this system, you'd also include a line item for savings. This strategy is especially useful for those who find themselves with no money left over at the end of the month. But with the zero-sum budgeting method, as long as you stick to your initial budget, you'll see your bank account grow. So now we have the go-ahead to spend all of our salary every month. Use this superpower with responsibility. Number 1. The wealthy organize their savings. Automating your savings is the final stage in ensuring you save money even on an average salary. Essentially, these scheduled deductions automatically put a portion of your paycheck directly into a savings account instead of the entire amount going into your bank account. There is a twofold reason this savings technique is so effective. First, it allows you to identify exactly how much you wanted to save. You can set your automated deductions to the amount you have identified as monthly savings in your zero-sum budget. Second, it frees up your mind from the burden of needing to save, allowing you to focus on other essential things on your path to wealth. So in summary, we can clearly see that the wealthy have distinct hacks and tendencies in their approach to saving. And much like Warren Buffett advises, the earlier we can start adopting these principles, the earlier we can start making them habits. So these practical savings hacks are things we can start doing right now and in turn speed up our journey to prosperity. And if you found this information educational, you should really further your knowledge by watching this next video where we detail the 6 items to buy to build your wealth and look at what Elon Musk's surprising first purchase was. See you over there.